Hope you're doing well. Welcome on in to a very hot, very muggy July 28th of 2025. It is Monday. Feels like temperatures are going to be up towards 111 degrees. This week, like in Wednesday, Thursday, feels like temperature going to be around 115 degrees. We've got your complete forecast at the top and bottom of each hour. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen was talking about how Donald Trump is really a tough negotiator, and she should know because people are really angry with her after she negotiated that deal between Donald Trump and the EU regarding tariffs.
I want to thank President Trump personally for his personal commitment and leadership to achieve this breakthrough. He's a tough negotiator, but he is also a deal maker.
And the president has made quite the deal, and she is, you say, the Belgian president? Is that what you said?
Well, she's the president of the European Commission, but she is from Belgium.
From Belgium. Okay, very good.
I imagine her wafflers are outstanding.
I'd be willing to bet they are. Anyway, so, President Trump, he did negotiate one heck of a deal. And we were talking earlier in the program about how people are actually pretty frustrated with the fact that the people in the EU, they're frustrated because they feel like this is a terrible deal for the EU. But see, here's the thing, is that Donald Trump went in and he said that America needs a better deal for America. And it is really nice to be able to have a president to go in and be able to cut a great deal. And a great deal has been cut. And so you do have a lot of folks on the left who it's not been a good weekend for them because President Trump comes out and he negotiates this great deal with the EU. It is great for America. And a lot of people are talking about how Donald Trump has negotiated a great deal. So we'll continue to talk about that and a whole lot more straight ahead on Nashville's Morning News. Also coming up, by the way, we do have the latest on Epstein. There has been some progress on that front as well, so stay close. But this is Donald Trump talking about the great deal with the EU.
They are going to purchase from the United States $750 billion worth of energy. They are going to agree to invest into the United States $600 billion more than they're investing already. So they're investing a large amount of money. They're agreeing to open up their countries to trade at zero tariff. And they're agreeing to purchase a vast amount of military equipment.
Do you know what I wonder? Just sitting here listening to Ursula von der Leyen and all these folks, it's hard for me to believe that the polling for Donald Trump is so bad. I don't believe it. Because this is a man, Donald Trump, who has had one win after another for the American people. And so all of that, by the way, hearing Donald Trump talk about, the EU buying $750 billion worth of energy from the United States, $600 billion more investment in America than what they are currently doing. And also there is the fact that America will retain a 15% tariff on goods imported in from the EU. And so some leaders are not happy in the EU. This is from Reuters. While the agreement brings short-term stability, it has also sparked criticism from some key European players. France's Minister for Europe, Benjamin Haddad, was quick to respond, calling the deal temporary stability, but it is unbalanced. His comments reflect broader concerns in Europe that while the agreement avoids the worst-case scenario, it does come at a steep cost. Under the terms, as I was just saying, a flat 15% tariff will apply to EU goods, including automobiles, pharmaceuticals, semiconductors as well. And by the way, part of this is also that America will be opened up to more markets within the EU. Because remember, and more sectors, remember, part of the conversation that Donald Trump has always had is that you do have, some of these sectors that America, just because of all of their regulations, we can't really sell in the European Union. We can't export our stuff into the EU because of all of the regulations. And effectively what that is it is cut off from us doing business in certain sectors. That is now going by the wayside as well. So a very big deal for Donald Trump, another huge victory for the president and a victory for America. So we've got that story for you that will continue to update throughout the day. We do have the latest on Epstein. This is going to be short. But one of the things that Donald Trump said on Friday, I don't know if you saw this. The president on Friday said that he was going to give the media a list of people who the media and others should focus on as it relates to a client list of Jeffrey Epstein.
You should focus on Clinton. You should focus on the president of Harvard, the former president of Harvard. You should focus on some of the hedge fund guys. I'll give you a list. These guys lived with Jeffrey Epstein. I sure as hell did.
So you heard Trump say, I'll give you a list. And people just started freaking out. By the way, I have not seen a list, but he's talking about this Lawrence Summers, the former president of Harvard, close associate of Epstein, even met with him after all of this became public. And Donald Trump, of course, also mentioned hedge fund managers and Bill Clinton. So the headlines exploded on Friday into Saturday that Donald Trump was going to give a list of people involved with Epstein. Now, the first thing that I thought of was, so you're going to have some of these folks reaching out to Donald Trump, and I'd be willing to bet that some of them would lie to save their own skin, kind of like Ghislaine Maxwell, by the way. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But if Donald Trump is going to start naming names, understand that there will probably people that will say, well, Donald Trump was in on it too. I mean, I almost can guarantee you that is going to happen. The Washington Post has a story out this morning that Donald Trump is furious because all of this nonsense is distracting from his agenda. Now, again, as I just mentioned, Trump has had a huge weekend with his agreement with the EU to impose that 15% tariff, some exceptions. This is going to bring in new opportunities for America, a whole bunch of cash as well. Some in the media, though, clearly don't care. All they want to talk about is Epstein.
If you're asking my opinion, I think 20 years was a pittance. I think she should have a life sentence at least. I mean,
that is, of course, House Speaker Mike Johnson. And he was asked about Ghislaine Maxwell and should she receive a pardon?
At least. I mean, think of all these unspeakable crimes. And as you noted earlier, probably 1,000 victims. I mean, it's hard to put into words how evil this was, and that she orchestrated it and was a big part of it. At least under the criminal sanction, I think is an unforgivable thing. So, yep. Again, not my decision, but I have great pause about that, as any reasonable person would.
And by the way, Donald Trump was asked the same question about Ghislaine Maxwell getting a pardon or a commutation, whatever. And he said, it's not really something that I've thought about. Thomas Massie, Republican congressman out of Kentucky, he, of course, making the rounds this weekend.
He's accusing you of trying to inflict political pain on your party by criticizing him for adjourning the House early. Is he right? Are you trying to inflict political pain with this criticism?
I don't know why it should be politically painful to be transparent. Is the pain he's talking about that somebody in our party will be embarrassed by those files? Then that's not a good excuse. Is the pain he's talking about is that the legislators, when they vote, have to pick between protecting embarrassment of the rich and powerful versus getting justice for victims? I don't really understand what he means by that. Why is it painful for Mike Johnson to call a vote on this?
So remember that Thomas Massie has been voting against Donald Trump on a lot of things over the years, attacking him as well. And Trump has called for Massie to be primaried. So it makes sense that Massie is coming after Donald Trump now. You've got people on the left and the right and the media saying that Johnson sent Congress home early to avoid voting on that discharge petition that we were talking about on Thursday and Friday, I think it was. That discharge petition would force a full vote on releasing whatever files there are. Now, this is all political. Speaker Johnson did respond to all of that.
Let me be absolutely clear, as we have been from the very beginning. House Republicans insist upon the release of all credible evidence and information related to Epstein in any way. But we are also insisting upon the protection of innocent victims. And our concern is that the Massey and Khanna discharge petition is reckless in the way that it is drafted and presented. It does not adequately include those protections.
You know, the other thing that he said, and he's right, I mean, they've been very specific. And Trump wants this stuff released. He has called for the stuff to be released. Mike Johnson has called for all of this to be released. I mean, everybody on our side, on the Republican side, has said, we've got to release this. But what Mike Johnson is saying is that we've got to release it in the right way. We've got to release it responsibly. He also said that, no, I did not end the section early. Actually, they filed the paperwork, he says. They filed the paperwork so that that last day would fall after they were already scheduled to be back home. He says they're lying about a lot of things.
Let me be absolutely clear, as we have been from the very beginning. House Republicans insist upon the release of all credible evidence and information related to Epstein in any way. But we are also insisting upon the protection of innocent victims. And our concern is that the Massey and Khanna discharge petition is reckless in the way that it is drafted and presented. It does not adequately include those protections.
And it seems to me like, again, a lot of this is timing and how it's done. Republicans and Trump very simply want to be cautious, and they want to protect innocent people and victims. The left and some Republicans and the media, they are demanding that this information be released right now. No cautions at all, which is obviously crazy. And this feels like an obvious attempt to make this situation worse. Now, I will admit this was a massive unforced error by Pam Bondi. We've spoken about that a lot. But there's a lot of people pouring gasoline on that fire. And that's what this is all about. What this is all about is a lot of people on the left and in the media and Trump enemies like Thomas Massey on the right who are simply trying to score political points. It's obvious what's going on. And Mike Johnson understands that, and hopefully you understand it too.
I agree with President Trump, with the Department of Justice, with the FBI, that you need all credible evidence and information out there. That word credible is important. And why? Because you have to protect innocent people's names and reputations whose names might be, as you noted at the outset of the program, intertwined into all these files. This has been a long legal process. There's a reason, for example, that grand jury materials are protected under the federal rules of criminal procedure because they're not to be put out. See, the Massey and Khanna discharge petition would require the release. They would require the DOJ and FBI to release information that they know is false, that is based on lies and rumors and was not even credible enough to be entered into the court proceedings. And that would be a dangerous thing. Our main concern here, though, is the protection of the innocent victims. I mean, these are minors in many cases who were subjected to unspeakable crimes, abject evil.
Yeah, abject evil. So it's like we all agree that this information should be released. It's just a matter of timing and caution. And it feels like everybody on the Republican side, or at least most of us, agree with those 2 points. Making sure that innocent people don't get wrapped up in all this because that would destroy their lives, and also protecting the victims. Did you see the post by Dan Bongino over the weekend?
Yes, I did.
Man.
So is he going outside of his limits of authority? Like, is he saying more than he should be saying?
He didn't really say anything specific.
Right.
But
right.
Yeah, it sounds like he might be just tiptoeing a little bit further than he's supposed to. Here's what he put out on social media. Dan Bongino, FBI Director Dan Bongino, this is from Fox News, posted a cryptic message on social media Saturday, writing that he has learned things since coming to the FBI that shocked him to his core and have changed him forever. Bongino posted on X to say that he and Kash Patel are committed to stamping out public corruption and political weaponization of the FBI and law enforcement, but things took a cryptic and somewhat alarming turn rather quickly in the message. He says, during my tenure, this is Dan Bongino, during my tenure here as the deputy director of the FBI, I have repeatedly relayed to you that things are happening that might not be immediately visible, but they are happening, the Post began. The director and I are committed to stamping out public corruption and the political weaponization of both law enforcement and intelligence operations. It is a priority for us. That is when he leaned into the apparent revelations that affected him. He says, but what I have learned in the course of our properly predicated and necessary investigations into these aforementioned matters has shocked me down to my core, Bongino wrote. We cannot run a republic like this. He says, I'll never be the same after learning what I've learned.
Wow. I think that that's a lot. I mean, it's not specific. But have you ever heard of anybody in the FBI going that far?
No, I haven't. Now, part of me thinks that, and listen, don't yell at me if you're a Bongino fan, but part of me thinks that maybe there might be a little bit of trying to restore his reputation.
Could be.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Because he came out and, you know, the whole thing with Pam Bondi and, you know, Epstein didn't kill himself. And I mean, a lot of people were screaming at Bongino and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi. Then word came out that Bongino and Pam Bondi were going back and forth with each other, and they were, you know, Bongino was really angry with how the whole Epstein thing was handled. There might just be a little bit of, you know, trying to restore his reputation because a lot of people went after him. And I think that this might be part of that. But I also do believe that he is being sincere when he says that I have seen things that will change me forever. And when it comes to Dan Bongino, a dude that's seen and heard and done everything, then yeah, I find that really interesting.
So King Doe in the YouTube chat pointed out that post came after Operation Grayskull went into effect with the FBI, where the Justice Department shut down a dark web child abuse site that had 120,000 members and millions of files.
Oh, my goodness. Yep. I get it. So I guess now the question is, what is, and I think there's so many just skeezy things out there. And I think Bongino, ultimately, he is seeing things. And you know what the thing is? I trust Dan Bongino to get things done. And if ultimately Kash Patel, who I also like, but if Kash Patel ended up leaving, I believe that Bongino would do a great job as FBI director.
Mm-hmm.
Russiagate. Did you say before the show that, Joan, that Tulsi Gabbard was getting some death threats?
Death threats. Yep.
It doesn't surprise me in the least.
I mean, honestly, if she wasn't getting them before, like,
she's getting
them now.
Well, yeah. How many of those are, like, they might want to check, see if any of the threats come from Hillary Clinton's cell phone. It's not just Tulsi Gabbard, by the way, that is accusing Barack Obama and members of his intelligence team of conspiring to hijack Trump's first term. There's a lot of folks, including John Ratcliffe speaking to Maria Bartiromo over the weekend. That was a big interview. There could actually, they say, be charges or, you know, some referrals for charges and so forth, more coming against people like John Brennan and James Comey, maybe even Hillary Clinton as well. You know who is coming out now, though, to Obama's defense? None other than Eric Flippin Holder. Believe it or not.
Oh, my gosh. His wingman?
His wingman. Listen to this.
I mean, I have no idea what Bongino is talking about, and I don't necessarily want to go into the workings of his mind. That's a place I simply don't want to be. But I think we should put a pin in that. And let's see, okay, when we finally get to what they will call the resolution of this matter, has the matter been resolved in a way that's consistent with what he is saying, which sounds kind of like a neutral way in which they are looking at these matters, and we'll see if in fact they did that. We'll see what the results are. This notion in that statement that we're not politicizing things, it runs headlong into these bothersome things called the facts. Mm-hmm. This administration has used the Justice Department, has used the investigatory power of the Justice Department to target
she's got receipts. Yeah. Like Eric Holder is trying to say that the Justice Department is being politicized, but if you've got facts and if you've got the receipts like Tulsi Gabbard does regarding, Obama and his henchmen trying to set up Donald Trump with Russian collusion and all that, if they've got the facts, then I don't believe that that's politicization. I believe that is looking into something, finding the proof, finding the receipts, and then holding people accountable. Isn't that what a Justice Department is supposed to do? So Eric Holder is just completely, obviously off base on this. I don't know if anybody on our side of the aisle really takes him seriously anymore because he himself has been incredibly politicized. But John Ratcliffe, he was on with Maria Bartiromo. He has been talking about a number of different things. Number one is the timeline that is out there regarding all of this, these allegations about Obama and all of his folks setting up Donald Trump with the dirty dossier. So John Ratcliffe has a timeline that I'm going to talk about here in a second. But also, there is some new information apparently that is also supposed to drop this week. But this is John Ratcliffe and part of what he had to say.
In the summer of 2016, U.S. intelligence intercepted Russian intelligence talking about a Hillary Clinton plan to falsely accuse Donald Trump of Russia collusion, to vilify him and smear him with what would become known infamously as the Steele dossier. And Maria, this intelligence was so explosive that John Brennan briefed President Obama, Vice President Biden, Jim Clapper, James Comey, the entire national security team, telling them about this Hillary Clinton plan.
Right, and we talked about that where the Russians wanted Hillary to win because they had all of that information on Hillary, where remember that, Joan? She's manic.
Oh,
she gets really mad, and then she gets really happy giddy. They had her on big old tranquilizers. I can't stop laughing.
I know.
Thinking about how Bill was like, give her another tranquilizer, please. I want some company and not her.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Pretty sad.
Donald Trump, of course, we all know, kept saying that this whole thing was a hoax. John Ratcliffe, of course, knows that this whole thing has been a hoax. He is the current CIA director. And one of the things that he exposed at the time of that initial meeting, CIA Director John Brennan, he was actually writing notes about all of this, which have now, of course, been made public.
During that 4-year period of time, think about the countless interviews that Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Jim Clapper, James Comey, John Brennan gave to the public, and testimony that they gave under oath about how Russia was involved in our election. And not one time, not a single time, did they ever reference what became verified intelligence, a Hillary Clinton plan. Verified, Maria, because in 2020, Hillary Clinton's own campaign manager took the oath under penalty of perjury in the trial of Michael Sussman and was asked about this plan and said, yes, there was a plan, and Hillary Clinton personally approved it. So all they did was talk about the fake Steele dossier, but never talked about the true intelligence, the true origins of the Russia collusion hoax, was that this was a Hillary Clinton campaign scheme.
Yep. I mean, he's right. He's right. Now, the question is, will Obama himself actually face any charges? Personally, I don't see that happening. Got a lot more on this straight ahead. Also, we missed some major news, Joan.
What's that?
I don't know how you missed.
How did I miss it?
This story. I don't know. Playing some audio from John Ratcliffe. I think he did a great job of laying all of this out regarding Russiagate on Maria Bartiromo's show. This was over the weekend. And yes, the Democrats were a big part of this, but you know what? This is almost like the secret that everybody knew. It's like an open secret in Washington, D.C., that Obama, John Brennan, James Clapper, all these folks had tried to and were trying to politically assassinate Donald Trump with these accusations of Russian collusion. Even, of course, y'all know John McCain, Republican, so-called, was one person, alleged, so-called, was one person. He gave the dossier to James Comey. By the way, his people also gave the dossier to the New York Times, the Washington Post, finally BuzzFeed. They were the ones that published it. And then, of course, as y'all know, it was a feeding frenzy. Now, fast forward to today and why this is important. This is important because we, as Americans, let alone Donald Trump supporters, had our votes hijacked in 2016. And now those same people, a lot of them, are still around and living the good life, knowing what they did and basically patting themselves on the back and laughing at what they got away with. And so I think that there's a lot of people out there that do in Washington, D.C. need to be held accountable. Now, here's the other thing. There's supposed to be something new that is supposed to be dropping this week.
But what hasn't come out yet and what's going to come out is the underlying intelligence that I have spent the last few months making recommendations about final declassification and sent that to the Department of Justice that will come out in the John Durham report classified annex.
All right. Now, we're getting awfully technical here. Remember, the Durham report was investigation into the origins of the Russian collusion hoax.
And what that intelligence shows, Maria, is that part of this was a Hillary Clinton plan, but part of it was an FBI plan to be an accelerant to that fake Steele dossier, to those fake Russia collusion claims by pouring oil on the fire, by amplifying the lie and burying the truth of what Hillary Clinton was up to. And you're right, Maria. John Brennan testified to John Durham in August of 2020. He also testified to the House Oversight Committee in 2022. Hillary Clinton testified before John Durham under oath in 2022. James Comey testified before the Senate committee in September 2020. All of that's within the last 5 years. And much of that testimony is, frankly, completely inconsistent with what our underlying intelligence that is about to be declassified in the Durham Annex, what that reflects.
All right, so we'll have to see what happens. Joan, I have such a bone to pick with you. I cannot believe that you missed one of the biggest news stories of the day.
Let's see. There was trade talk. There was I know. There might have been maybe this.
Did you tell her? What is this, Joan?
This is the Destiny's Child reunion.
You told Sam, you son of a biscuit eater. I was gonna tell Joan. She totally missed the big Destiny's Child reunion over the weekend. Are you kidding me?
It's Joan. She was already on it.
I was already on it.
Were you on it?
But listen, I choose to bring the things that are of consequence to our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
The Destiny's Child reunion?
Mm-hmm.
No.
I was just kidding, of course. Yeah. I don't like Beyonce. She was in Destiny's Child.
She, by the way, of the three, had the least amount of clothing on.
Oh, during the Destiny's Child thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that still doesn't interest me, believe it or not. I think she is so overrated in a number of different ways.
Yeah.
Hey,
anyway. Can I just tell you something? Can I just vent here for a minute?
Sure.
I lost my Twitter account.
Why? Did you get banned?
No, I didn't get banned. I wish I did. I wish I did something.
Because that gives you some street cred. Because I was shadow banned for years.
Were you really?
Oh, yeah.
No, I did a dumb thing. I had all my passwords in one place, and it got fried. And somebody in the meantime hijacked my Twitter account and put in a Chinese-based email.
Oh, no.
Replaced mine with this Chinese-based email. And every time I tried to go and replace it, it would say, oh, we'll just put in your password. Well, I didn't have my password.
Are they posting anti-Semitic remarks like they did to Elmo?
No, actually, they didn't do that yet. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't try to get my email back. My email changed because I knew that all it would do was send a code to this other person in China.
Right.
And they would totally hijack my account. And X wouldn't help me.
It's always the Chinese.
It's always.
Do you know what I think?
X wouldn't help me. So I had to create a whole new account.
Okay, so what is your new account?
It's Joan Jones WTN.
Well, now if you get fired, then you've got to change it.
I'll just change it.
I made absolute certain that my Twitter feed or whatever was just my name.
It just says Dan Mandis?
Dan Mandis or Dan Mandis Show. Yeah. I'm not going to put any stupid call letters on my Twitter feed because the second I get fired, I've got to change my Twitter feed.
I don't think Joan's in the same risk category as you.
Yeah, mister. So the point is, I had all these people that I would talk with every day online, and now I don't have, I had 500 or so. And they're all gone.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. So, Dan, would you please follow me?
Sure.
I mean, I tried to get you to follow me, but you weren't paying attention this weekend.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, I'll definitely follow you. By the way,
And
clearly,
you too, Sam.
Clearly, Joan, have you noticed that definitely the honeymoon is over between me and Sam? He keeps taking your side on literally everything, right where KGB left off and Johnny B before him. What is up with you people? I can't get one attaboy from either one of you on this stuff.
Oh, you know how much we love you.
Whatever.
I don't bring everybody my spaghetti squash, but I brought it for you.
Oh, Amy's making that today.
Oh yeah?
Cool. Yeah, she is.
All right.
Yeah, some Joan Jones spaghetti squash will be had.